Hello Ned, it's Steph Jansen. Last week, Elon Musk, one of the most prominent inventors of our time, announced that he wants to put tiny electrodes into human brains in order to increase our intelligence and memory. Some experts are even predicting a future in which we can upload and download memories Matrix style.
I know Kung Fu.
But before you write this off as science fiction, consider that Musk has already built multi-billion-dollar companies that are building electric cars, roofs that can harvest sunlight, reusable space rockets, magnetically levitated pods that in 35 minutes will take you from San Francisco to Los Angeles, where yet another of his companies is trying to solve traffic by boring tunnels under the city. It's like Musk has some kind of condition where every year he just has to revolutionize a new industry. So when he says electrodes are going in our brain, it's worth paying attention. But perhaps even more worth noting is the fact that there are already people experimenting with all kinds of implants. Amel Grafstra, sick of losing his car keys all the time, implanted near-field communication chips and radio frequency transmitters into the fleshy piece between his thumb and finger, allowing him to unlock all kinds of things like his phone, his computer, his car, and even his home. And now he's crowdfunded development of his own chips. Amal is part of what some people are calling the biohacker movement, and he's not alone. Another biohacker nicknamed Left implanted into her fingertips a rare earth magnet called neodymium, which responds to electromagnetic radiation. Using these magnets, Left has added a sixth sense to her body. She can now detect how strong reception is from nearby cell phone towers. Yet another biohacker named Rich Lee implanted magnets into his ears, which received information from a magnetic cord connected to his music player, acting as hidden earbuds. He also connected his magnets to a rangefinder, which gave him sort of an echolocation ability, which would hum in his ears as objects became closer. He's also talked about plans of connecting his magnets to his phone's GPS system so that he can transmit directions directly into his head. Then there's Nick Harbison, who implanted an antenna inside his skull, allowing him to overcome his color blindness. This antenna translates about 360 different colors into sounds which he hears inside his head. He can even see, or hear rather, colors like infrared or ultraviolet, which you can't see with the naked eye. Incidentally, Neil is also the first person to be recognized as a cyborg by his government, on his passport. Now, if all that sounds trippy, consider that any device that can receive a signal can in theory be hacked. And biohackers aren't just hacking gadgety devices, they're also hacking the devices which we need to live. An infamous biohacker named Barnaby Jack demonstrated that using only a radio transmitter, he could remotely cause an insulin pump to release a lethal dose of insulin, or cause an implanted pacemaker to deliver a lethal shock. Now Jack kept on pushing the boundaries, and was scheduled to deliver a demonstration whereby he would show how he can hack an implanted defibrillator to deliver a lethal shock to a dummy patient. But in a twist, 1 week before the demonstration was scheduled to happen, Jack was found dead in his apartment. Though Jack never completed his demonstration, he highlighted the massive vulnerabilities of medical devices, leading some device manufacturers to issue warnings that they weren't safe, and leading some celebrities, like former US VP Dick Cheney, to disable all remote control functions on their devices. Understandably, biohackers themselves have been some of the most concerned, organizing themselves into groups which advocate for the rights of people with implants, and also into companies that create and emphasize the safety and security of the devices which they implant. And that's the real story here. Because while biohacking used to be an underground experiment, it's now starting to touch companies and governments with real power. The vision behind biohacking is to blur the line between person and machine to create extra senses. And if they've been able to do that on a shoestring budget, imagine what they could do with $1 billion and 1,000 engineers. Which brings us right back to Elon Musk and Neuralink. The mission of Neuralink and its brain implants are going to be to help us communicate with machines in a much faster and more intuitive way. Think of how long it takes you to get something done on your phone. The gap between thinking about something that you want to have done and the time that it takes your phone to deliver that to you. Think of how long it would take you to find this video on YouTube. You'd have to unlock your phone, find the YouTube app, painstakingly type something with only 2 thumbs, scroll through a list of options which YouTube returns to you, and then select the right one. With Neuralink, you may just be able to picture the layout of YouTube with my face on it, that's a scary thought, and use that as a search query to return the video that you're looking for. Now, getting to the right video on YouTube is a bit of a trivial use case for this technology, but it highlights how we can merge our brains with computers so that they can interface and communicate with each other. And once you can do that, you can do everything from setting the thermostat to creating an Amazon shopping list, to dialing 911, queuing up a playlist, setting your pet robot on complex errands, or even making a mental note in the most literal sense of the word. And so what we're really talking about is a world in which the gap between thinking about something and having that something happen shrinks to 0. This has been your ounce of awesome. Be good, and I'll see you next week.